Welcome to Lecture 6, Chapter 4. Here we're going to discuss about the new generation of nuclear power reactors. Today there are approximately 40 countries with nuclear energy as part of their power mix. Countries in very different situations. Some of these countries are proposing to phase out their nuclear power fleet. This is the case, for example, in Germany. Germany will have no more nuclear power plants in 2023. Other countries are planning to scale back, such as France. France has decided to reduce the share of nuclear energy in its electricity consumption from 75% today to 50% by 2025. But other countries are planning to expand and sometimes dramatically their nuclear capacity. This is the case, for example, in China. China intends to build the equivalent of the entire existing French nuclear power fleet in the coming years. There are, to be frank, serious obstacles standing in the way of the larger scale deployment of nuclear energy worldwide, and they demand to be looked at carefully and to be seriously taken into account. Issues of public resistance in particular, especially following the Fukushima nuclear accident in Japan. But also, more generally speaking and unrelated to a particular event, concerns over the safety of the operation of nuclear reactors, anxiety about the risk of proliferation, and worries about the issues of waste management. And also, I should add, concerns over the costs of nuclear energy, because upgrading the existing nuclear reactors or building new reactors to improve their safety following the recommendations that were made after the Fukushima accident will most likely increase their costs and probably quite significantly. So it's also important to recognize that the public support for nuclear technology has important non-technical dimensions that are therefore not easily addressed by engineering improvements. Different societies have different attitudes towards nuclear energy because they have different histories, they have different cultures, different belief systems, but also because the management of the inherent risks of nuclear energy require the existence of an independent safety agency. And the truth is that the conditions for the independence of this safety agency are not really met in all countries. That being said, the technical advances can play a critical role in the improvement of the nuclear reactors. And they will be needed in order for nuclear energy to remain a significant part of the power mix in some countries, or even potentially to play a growing role and an important role given the need to produce low or zero carbon electricity to avoid dangerous climate change. What are these potential critical technical advances? Well, there are plenty of them, such as breakthrough in the safety systems, advances in fuel security, options for fuel recycling or techniques to reduce the costs. All of that will be needed if nuclear energy is to play an important and growing role in the future. The development of a fourth generation of nuclear reactors offers the prospect of addressing some of these important issues. So what is it, fourth generation of nuclear reactors? What were the three first generations anyway? We use the term fourth generation nuclear power to bring together different kinds of advanced nuclear fission energy technology that share a number of key characteristics. The first is the modularity of the production systems and the building of smaller scale units. The second is the use of alternative systems for fuel reprocessing, or the use of alternative fuels to uranium, such as thorium. And the third is the design of improved automatic and even passive safety systems. And I'll explain in a minute what that is, because it's one of the potentially most important breakthroughs of nuclear reactors in the future. What are the objectives of this fourth generation of nuclear reactors? I mean, why build them differently from the previous generations? Well, a number of reasons. The first is that we're trying to make the nuclear reactors more simple, so that the reactors are less vulnerable to construction delays and cost overruns, which sometimes have been very significant in the past and still are today. But also objective to address the proliferation concerns, a very serious concern, by making it much more difficult to divert materials for nuclear weapons at any points in the fuel cycle. And some of the fourth generation nuclear reactors address this point. But also, and as I said, very importantly, almost the driving force of this fourth generation of nuclear reactors, the objective is to improve safety, and in particular through the use of passive safety systems. So what is it? Well, it means that the reactor core would be assured by physical principles to be safe from the meltdown, even in the absence of active cooling. So that's why we call it passive safety systems. So as you can see, this fourth generation of nuclear reactors offers interesting prospects, the prospect of significant improvements to the existing nuclear reactors, but they still require a high level of research and development and also demonstration before they could be eventually deployed and play a role in the deep decarbonization strategies.